Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Kingdom Minded Conversations. I am your host, Akibo Pugh, and today is January 10th, 2024. So normally when I get on here, I'll come on with a title for what our conversations is going to be about today, but at this point, I really don't have a title for this one, so the title will probably come later, but as of right now, I don't have one. But I did have some things on my heart that I wanted to get off, and so here we are. This past week has probably been one of the most trying weeks of my entire adult life, really. Um, um, some very necessary things have occurred, and not all of them are comfortable. In fact, the majority of them are very uncomfortable, but very necessary. If if I'm being honest, um, when you truly make up your mind that you want to walk with God, it's not going to be comfortable. It really isn't. And a lot of times when we come to that decision that we want to serve God, it's going to require some. Uh, it's going to require some pruning, so to speak. You're going to have to um, get rid of a lot of stuff that you've been accustomed to, a lot of habits, thought processes, uh, people, relationships, um, and because you've gotten so accustomed to those things and it's kind of become a part of your life, it's very difficult when you find you have to start cutting those things off your life. And to be honest, a lot of those things are really toxic to you and will hinder your walk with God. So um, I'm very thankful. Probably several months ago here, um, I asked God to expose the things in my life that were hindering me, that were um, affecting my ability to um, be a good servant, to be a good husband, provider, father. Um, I asked him to expose those things. Um, and in my mind, I knew that um, it wasn't going to be a pleasant experience, but um, I don't think I really understood just um, what what all was going to transpire. Um, but as I said, in spite of the difficulty, in spite of you know uh, the consequence of that request, um, I'm still grateful because I truly desire to walk with God. I truly desire to fulfill His purpose in my life, whatever that may be. Um, and I know that means getting rid of some things that don't align with what His plan for me is. Even though I might want those things, you know. Um, uh, Even though I might have gotten comfortable with those things um, or situations, um, if if it's not um, if it doesn't have a purpose in His kingdom, then I don't need it, right? Um, God pretty much tells us that if we would focus on Him and serve Him, that He would add to us everything else that we need. And I know not everyone believes that, and not everyone wants to accept that because, God gave us our own free will. And so the fact of the matter is, a lot of times we just want to do our own thing. We don't want to be hindered in any way from doing what we want to do. And if God's plan for us doesn't align with what we want to do, then we're not going to be agreeable with it. And so we're going to buck, and we're going to resist, and we're going to rebel, um, or straddle the fence, try to do it somewhat, but not exactly like what he told us to do it. Trying to play both sides or have the best of both worlds. But uh, God's kingdom doesn't work like that. Either you are for him or you're not. Either you're with him or you're not. You can't be halfway in and halfway out, or 90% in and 10% out. It's either 100% or nothing. And so, trying to think how to say that. So I haven't been all in. It's just call it what it is. Ain't no reason, no way, no need in trying to, nicen it up. It is what it is. I haven't been 100% in. I want to be. I've wanted to be, rather, I should say. But I still had things that I wanted to do. The way I wanted to do them. And intellectually, I know that God's way is better. But in the natural, my faith wasn't strong enough to back what I knew mentally, what I knew in my heart. Uh, I didn't have enough faith, and to be honest, my faith is still struggling. But I asked God to rearrange some things in my life, and I truly believe He's begun to do that. And in so doing, it's as uncomfortable as it is, it's breaking off some strongholds in my life. There's it's it's hard and difficult, but there's also freedom, and there's also freedom and peace in Him pruning you and cutting things off of you. Because it would, if you think about it in a natural sense, so pruning kind of has two. When you're pruning a tree, it kind of has, um, if you're looking at it in the natural, it kind of has. You could probably look at it two different ways, I should say. So as you're cutting something, you're literally cutting something off of this tree, right? You're cutting off limbs, or um, you're cutting off branches. And as you're doing that, you're cutting off a piece of that tree. A part of it is that limb has become a part of it, but that limb is also hindering that tree from growing. So the only way for it to grow is for you to prune it and cut that limb off of it. By doing so, you're in a sense injuring it, because you have to cut a piece of it off, or something that's become a part of it. But at the same time, you're freeing it from this thing that, although it became a part of it, this thing was holding it back. So the only way that the tree was going to ever be able to go any further was if that part of it was cut off. That if it was, if it was removed from it. And so in going through that pain of separation and removing those things from you, at the same time, you're also expanding your ability to grow and to um, um, go further. Whereas if you leave those, if the tree had left, if the limb had been left on the tree, then granted it would have still had that part of it, and it wouldn't have to suffer the pain of that separation. But the tree would have never went any further. It would have been stuck right where it was. So the pruning, although it was painful and it required you to lose a part of it, required it to be it was a part of it was now gone. It was necessary in order for the tree to grow. And so, long story short, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of looking like a mess. I'm looking like rough. I need to, do some things, kind of, tidy up. But um, I look rough, and that's how I feel like I'm like. But I'm in process. My wife said something the other day in a message she was doing, that She said she was in progress because we're still processing. We haven't arrived where we want to be or where God has called us to be at yet, but we're still processing. We're still working to get there. And so I'm working to get to where God has called me to, um, and that requires pruning. That requires um, leaving some things behind. That requires um, um, being separated from things that have become a part of you, um, because those things are holding you back. And God desires for us to grow and prosper. And so that's where I'm at right now. And that's kind of what this message is about. It's about uh, getting you to understand that some of the things that are attached to you right now are holding you back, and you will never go any further as long as you allow them to remain. It's it's going to be hard, but pruning must take place. It has to take place if you want to grow. Um, it's the only way you're going to grow. There's no way around it. There's no alternate route. Um, there's only one way. The Bible says that Jesus is the only way. You can't get to God through no other means. There's only one way. Only through Jesus. No one else, no other entities have that. Entity has that power. And so you have to understand that there's no other way around your freedom. You're going to have to get free of some of these things that are holding you back. And as painful as it is, you're going to have to either um, make up your mind that it has to be done and start working to do that, or exercise your free will and stay where you're at. It's your right. It's our God-given right to choose what we want to do. That's one thing about God. He doesn't force himself on you. He gives you the option to say thank you, but no thank you. And so I'm choosing to accept his olive branch and um, allow these things to be cut off my life. Allow myself to be pruned so I can grow in God, so that I can be a better disciple, so that I can be a better husband, father, um, and person. Uh, um, and that should be, I would hope that that's your desire as well. So this is not going to be a long um, video. I just wanted to get some things off my heart, um, and just kind of give you some words of encouragement. Um, uh, if you find that you're stuck in a certain area of your life and things are not improving, it probably means you need to do some pruning, or rather you need to allow God to do some pruning off of your life. Uh, and I think that you'll find that if you will allow Him to do that, you will begin to grow again, you will begin to prosper again, and you will begin to do well. Um, I also want you to understand that pruning is not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. It requires parts of you to be cut off. It requires um, there's pain involved. There's discomfort involved. Um, it's nothing pleasant about it, but the rewards, um, the benefits far outweigh any sort of discomfort or pain that you would have to deal with. So I want to leave you with that, and just say, do some pruning. Do some pruning and grow in God. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.